We're tracking a developing situation with enormous global implications. According to reports coming in, a critical artery of the world economy has been severed. This is triggering a military and economic crisis that could have consequences for all of us. Let's get right into the details of what's unfolding. So here's the core claim from the source material. Iran's navy has reportedly seized complete control of the Strait of Hormuz. They've effectively shut down one of the most vital maritime passages on the entire planet. And really, this one action sets the stage for everything else that follows. To really grasp why this is such a massive deal, you have to understand the strategic importance of this waterway. It's so much more than just a channel of water. It's a linchpin holding the entire global economic system together. And this right here, this highlights the core vulnerability. All of that economic power, all of that energy is funneled through an incredibly narrow passage. That makes it a natural choke point. And now, according to these reports, it's under the control of a single nation. When you actually break down what's at stake, the figures are just staggering. We're talking about a huge percentage of the world's entire supply of both oil and natural gas. The potential for a global disruption is just immense. Let's start with the first number, 1/5. Think about that. 1/5 of the entire world's oil supply has to navigate this one strait. Any disruption here has an immediate direct impact on fuel prices and economic stability everywhere, from Tokyo to Texas. And it definitely doesn't stop with oil. A full 1/3 of the world's liquefied natural gas, or LNG, passes right through that exact same choke point. For a lot of countries, this is the main source of energy for heating homes and powering their entire industries. So what's the immediate effect of this reported closure? Well, it's a massive traffic jam at sea. The source is claiming that over 500 vessels are just sitting there at a standstill, waiting outside the strait, totally unable to pass. In this region, the global supply chain is, well, it's frozen. This economic crisis didn't stay just economic for long. According to the report, closing the strait wasn't an isolated act. It was apparently accompanied by a direct offensive against some very high-value military targets. The very first objective in this reported offensive wasn't a ship, it wasn't a military base, it was the eyes and ears of the U.S. military in the region, its advanced early warning systems. The crucial thing to understand is what this piece of technology actually does. The FPS-132 is a major strategic asset. It's designed to spot threats like ballistic missiles from thousands of miles away. Taking one out, well, that effectively blinds your opponent. And that is precisely what the report alleges happened. Iranian drones reportedly located and destroyed the FPS-132 radar system that was stationed in Qatar. The estimated value of that single piece of hardware? $1 billion. But according to the source, the damage didn't stop there. That billion-dollar radar was apparently just the start of a series of pretty significant reported losses for the U.S. military. The report goes on to detail the loss of not only that radar system, but also 3 U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagles. And these are premier, all-weather, multi-role strike fighters. We're talking top-of-the-line aircraft. So when you put it together, the destruction of 1 strategic radar and 3 advanced fighter jets, that represents a substantial blow to military capability and the ability to project power in that theater of operations. In total, the source estimates the financial cost of just these initial engagements to be right around $2 billion in U.S. military hardware gone. That is a significant price to pay in the opening moves of any conflict. All of this leads us to the strategic outlook. With key assets lost and a critical waterway shut down, the big question becomes, what happens next? The report points to a critical vulnerability that could very well define the next stage of this conflict. The focus now shifts from offense to defense. Specifically, we're talking about the supply of interceptor missiles held by U.S. allies in the region. These missiles are the shield against incoming attacks, and according to the source, that shield might be a lot thinner than anyone realized. And here is the absolute crucial point. It all comes down to logistics and attrition. The source claims that the allied Arab nations simply do not have a large enough stockpile of these critical defensive missiles to sustain a high-intensity conflict with Iran for even 10 days without an immediate and massive resupply from the outside.
And this leaves us with the final overarching question that the source material poses. Do these events, a closed strait, sophisticated attacks on U.S. assets, and this question of logistical endurance, do they signal the beginning of a new multipolar war, one that involves Iran, the United States, and its allies? The board is set and the world is watching.